Thank you for tuning in to Saturday Night Showdown, brought to you by World of Podcasts. I'm your caster, Adam Eastwood, and with me from D20crit.com, Will. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. I haven't been around for a couple of weeks, so the seat was a little bit cool, but I'm rather excited for the fiery match we're going to have today.
Yes, we have Tarconus, who beat Chai T on our last cast when you sent over your intern.
my minion.
Your minion. So we have Tarconus coming in, and he will be going up against Pagan Geek, who we saw a couple of weeks ago when we played a Robert A. Wing, if I remember properly.
That's right.
So I think this will be a great match tonight, kind of evenly matched at this point. Some casual players out here, which is what this game I think is about. I love the casual nature of this game.
I'd be interested to see now that we've had Nax fully opened. To see how many of them utilize all of the different cards from Nax and how they sort of build that into their play, or if they just go some old school ways.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited because we saw a couple Nax cards the last time, but we're going to see even more this week, so I'm excited. And I still haven't gotten them all yet. I still need to beat Kel'Thuzad. I'm getting very frustrated with that fight just because I feel like I get just horrible luck.
Much like sometimes we see when we're doing Saturday Night Showdown, because we've seen some rotten luck with some of the draws. It's always proved to be interesting. But I think tonight's going to be really grand.
Mm-hmm. Well, everyone knows Kel'Thuzad cheats, and when I go to put out a my hunter minion pet, I end up getting Mr. Bigglesworth, and I have a 1/1 instead of something better. So when I lose by 2 health. He has 2 health left.
Yep.
That's the worst.
It's absolutely the worst.
It's frustrating.
So it looks like they're ready to jump in and kickstart this.
Yes, yes they are. So I guess we're a little bit on the fly this week. I didn't harass them like normal to give me their deck list, but it'll be fun. We have a mage deck with. What was it? Playing the mage deck, Tarconus, and the hunter deck for Pagan Geek. Man, it's interesting. I'm excited to see kind of what they're going to be putting in their decks. Oh, Tarconus with those 2 vaporizes in his hand.
Yeah, do you know what? I still mage decks and me still don't get along. We never have.
No,
so I do not like facing them. No,
I haven't really played mage much. Hunter, me and hunters get along really well. I play a fun hunter deck with the animal companion and the buzzard, but I play a lot of secrets. I'm like really secret heavy.
Oh,
it's just so much fun. It's kind of like I'm a big Magic the Gathering fan. I played it a lot, and I love blue decks because you just mess with people on their turn. So that's what I can do is kind of secrets in this game.
Well, so immediately a shot to the face from Tarconus over to Pagan Geek, and Pagan returns by bringing out his buzzard and his wolf to get him a free card draw and 4 to hit on next turn if this arcane missile doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm. And the arcane missile, did what it needed to do. It got rid of the wolf, and then he manually got rid of that buzzard. You have to deal with those buzzards really quick, otherwise. Especially if they pull out Unleash the Hounds later and you have some cards, it's just tons of card draw, and that's important for the hunter deck. It really lets you prepare for what's in front of you.
Oh, the good thing it wasn't a waste. He was able to get a free card out of that. So he was able to use. There's nothing you should never use that buzzard unless you can actually play something on the same turn. Otherwise, it does become useless. And he's returned with a tank, the tanking bear at 4/4, as his random. And again, now taking some to the face. Sean Pagan Geek is not holding back, but oh my word, what are you going to do with that vaporize, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, early on, I think the bear was Mishka, the bear tank. I think is the best to kind of pull out early because you're not in a rush to, fight with the boar and the manticore that buffs all your creatures. You don't have creatures for it, so I think early game that's great. But the vaporize was there. But you're getting rid of a vaporize early. You're not gonna have to worry about it against like a Ragnaros per se. If we were to know what were in people's hands.
And now it's what would you think about even doing here? Because you got those two taunts up, and they're not going anywhere. They're not going to do anything. Is it worth even playing a single one of the cards that Sean has in his hand here? I feel it would be a waste to try and lay out that he's using the kill command. I don't know. I always find I get frustrated with that mage mirror image.
Mm-hmm. See, you get frustrated with it, but you can't do anything to you just sitting there on the board. So I don't use my kill command against it because your kill command, that's 5 damage. That is 1/6 of your enemy's health. I never use kill command unless I have a beast on board, and very rarely will I use it against something on the board unless it's like a major threat. I save it for the face late in the game.
Would you have waited just tapped out? Because I feel had started with a great card draw, and he's now got an unfortunate. His hand. Sure, Pagan Geek's hand just doesn't look great here. He's can deal with big enemies. He's got some big cards to play, but right now there's nothing he can actually play or deal with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the only thing he can really play right now are things that he's going to lose. The reason why they're 4 mana, the Houndmaster. He's going to lose the ability to buff one of his minions if he plays it. Stuff like that. He's going to pull out these the Unleash the Hounds. This is one of those things where if say he didn't use the kill command, he could have easily cleared up those guys with the hounds, because he would have gotten 2 hounds instead of just the one. That's kind of why I prefer not to use a kill command on something that's not going to attack you, and he's not trying to attack in the immediate future anyways with that.
Yep.
I really like the Hunter deck against kind of a mage control deck because, if we kind of cheat and look at the hand of Pagan Geek, of Tarconus, he has Frost Novas, so he has a lot of stuff that is going to stop attacking from happening to him. But as a Hunter, you just constantly pump out that 2 mana, and you're good to go.
Yeah, and then unfortunately we've got that brutal sheep coming out there on his overpowered legendary.
Overpowered. Hey, that's why they have sheeps. You have to be able to deal with them somehow.
Gosh, I just feel that Pagan Geek had a great start, and then all of the cards and his deck just got fumbled there, and there's a rough side.
Mm-hmm.
This is interesting play now of what Pagan Geek has got to do. He does have the card advantage.
Mm-hmm. He has card advantage. He's going to be able to put out that the wolf. He will be able to buff him later on, so he does have options.
Yep.
But the problem is he doesn't have the kind of the hunt, the beasts on the board other than that one wolf. So next turn that he's going to be gone. If I'm Tarconus, I'm going to major hero ability to get rid of things, blizzard to get rid of things. You just don't want anything on the board.
No.
He's going to be able to buff him. Really, you got to be careful.
Man, that's rough.
And at this point, he has to use his explosive shot to get rid of that mana worm. That's not something you really want to do.
No, but it's really the only thing he can do. But he, thankfully, he can pull out that and get a.
I think that was a little bit of a misclick there. He didn't attack the middle guy to deal damage to both sides.
Both sides, yeah, I think so. Overshot. Out comes the freeze. And this is why I really struggle with mages. Mages and their freezes drive me nuts. I've always feel like I'm locked down, and this is interesting.
Well, we do see the new card, the Web Spinner, which is an excellent card. I think it's just I should define excellent. I think it's fun.
What's his death rattle ability?
You randomly get any beast in the game into your hand.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And with 2 tanks up there, he's holding the line.
Yep. So when I did the Hunter challenge, I used the Web Spinner, and it was all deck full of them. The first thing I got, King Crush, because it's not a card that's in your deck; it's a card that's in the game.
Oh, wow!
So I wouldn't even be aiming to kill it at this point as Tarconus. I would let him keep it on the board.
Right.
Because at this point, you don't know what he could get. Could get charges, could get anything. Kill command, getting rid of that mana worm, almost necessary at this point.
Yeah.
Because you can't risk dropping any life, because if he drops, that 4 life, he only has 3 turns till he's dead.
And there we go. We're going to see what card he's going to pull out, and
my Exna.
Oh.
I mean,
there we go.
you can't argue with that. That is a great card.
Yeah, it really is.
Did he choose not to kill command the Mana Worm?
I feel like he did.
That's I mean, what is it? Like at this point, I guess he still has that taunt up there, and he's gonna get two more.
He's gonna push him. Yeah.
Yeah. If you kill him, you get two other. What do you call them? They're like ghost spiders, I think. They're not quite like legit spiders. So you still get kind of a little more stuff on the board.
Oh, now so here we go. Both card starved. We have a secret over on Pagan Geek, and this is where it gets interesting. Oh, and the arcane intellect brings out 2 cards, and Tark is saying, "I am done."
Tarconus gives up, so that goes game 1 to our Pagan Geek friend.
Man, and that's funny. For partway through that game, it didn't feel like it was going to go Pagan Geek's way.
No, I really felt like Pagan Geek was going to lose, but that's the thing with the mage deck. If you run to that point where you just run out of steam. You know, you're pulling all these cards that let you control the battlefield, but nonetheless actually have a win condition.
Yeah.
So that's tough. That's like I was saying earlier in a game of Magic Gathering with a blue deck. You run into that very, very same problem. You can stop the other person from winning, but you can't win yourself. And then when you get into, last half of your deck, you're like, I'm done. Just beat me.
Now, what was the deck that Tarconus actually ran with, and how did he actually get on?
Last time, oh man, I wish I could remember. It was like 2 weeks ago. I think he played. Let me pull it up. Give me a second if you want to kind of let people know what's going on here. I can
yeah. So right now we've got it's Shaman versus Hunter. Obviously, Pagan Geek is still on his Hunter, and Tarconus has a strong advantage in his hand of having 2 hexes early on, which is always a powerful thing. Where Pagan Geek has a tank, and his he has the shot where he can take out two enemies with 3 damage apiece with just 4 mana cost, which is always a very powerful card to have. So let's see where we're going with this. Tarconus is immediately tackling the new spider to split that down into 2 1/1s, and let's have a look here.
I was gonna say, having 2 hexes in your hand, it's great. Sometimes it's a curse though, because then you're like, oh, I have these hexes, I have to use them against something that's on the board. Sometimes you almost want to get them later when the other person's gonna put out bigger creatures,
bigger things. Yeah, I tend to sit. I do tend to sit on them. I don't think I'd ever use them on early game, before 4. But I also have had those games where they just don't appear. They're in the last 10 cards that don't show. So I'd like to have at least one in my hand, but the advantage would be, in my mind, is that even if you use 1 hex, that can sometimes draw the person out in thinking, oh, you've just used that hex up. What's the odds of you having 2 in your hand?
Right.
So,
almost fake them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tarconus made it with Druid, Hunter, and Shaman as his 3 decks.
Okay.
Last time, and I think it was a Shaman deck, if I remember right. Just did awesome. It either won 2 or won all 3 of them. It was something of greatness. So it's pretty good. So like you said, he's using that hex. He's using that hex to kind of clean up the board. Keep him low. I don't know. It feels a little early for me for a hex. Like especially with a lightning bolt or frost shock and stuff in your hands.
Yeah.
But he does have the Doomhammer kind of sitting there waiting.
Now would you be putting out your Doomhammer right now?
Yes, for sure.
Would you do the yeah, see, that's interesting. Just looking at that, yeah, I probably would have done the Doomhammer too. Looking at those choices, but he's got some defense up now. And if let's have a look here. In my mind, Pagan Geek would use the shot to deal with those. Yeah, that's probably what I would do.
No, definitely the multi-shot I think is would be my option at this point. He did use Unleash the Hounds, but I like the multi-shot just because you need to get rid of that flame tongue totem because it can really hurt you.
Although it's an interesting technique that he used there. He's now, by not using that, he's got 5 on the board that can unleash damage. So that worked quite well too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big fan of holding on to those Unleash the Hounds, and just because I like to use that for card draw. You wait till you get your
buzzard out.
You buzz it out, and then you unleash hounds because then you get 2-3 cards. First turn with the buzzard. I've had some lucky games where I was able to put the buzzard out, unleash the hounds, and then unleash the hounds again.
Oh wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so you fill up your board.
There's a nice one too where you can then you unleash the hounds and then you'll buff them all up. And if you throw out a raid leader or something, all of a sudden you're
the alpha wolf works really well. I've had it where I've done the summon your companion and it it's the manticore who gives all your creatures +1, so it's a good times. Let's see. So what do you think? Is he going to start using the Doom Hammer? That's the question.
I don't know. I feel like there was a misclick there. That he tried to heal himself, but he actually. I'm not sure if I misunderstood what he just did there. What Tarconus just did. It looked like he dropped a heal onto that totem. Yeah. I wonder if he misclicked.
Yeah, I think it might have been a misclick. I'm not sure.
That's always super unfortunate when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see Sean is still hanging around to the rags.
Mm-hmm. Up, and there it comes.
Yeah.
But, we have the Hex on board, so...
dealt with pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. It got sheeped last game pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That Ragnaros card just does not have any luck whatsoever. It feels like Tarconus has had the answer for him the entire time.
Oh, man. So he's now given the Death Rattle to the Wind Fury too.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 damage. Oof, that's a rough situation to be in.
Yep. Luckily, he did have the ancestral healing on the. Well, he's going to concede, but I was going to say luckily he did have it on the air elemental, the wind and the wind elemental. But yeah, he's gonna concede there. Sometimes it's like you got to kind of use up your minions or attack their minions first when you're playing a hunter. I find that very important.
Yeah, that was there was no mercy there coming from Sean, but we're going to get Hunter on Hunter right now.
Mm-hmm. And everyone's going to see a small kind of a little hiccup on the screen as I put the correct overlay because I don't have a 2-0 overlay. It's like I assume that there's not going to be a 2-0. So stay with me as I get that added real quick. It'll just take me a moment. So we're gonna see a Hunter here. I'm like I said before, I'm a big fan of the Hunter. So I like to play my Hunter. So in terms of Hunter deck, do you ever play one?
I do, yes. I enjoy playing the Hunter. I actually enjoy playing the Hunter. I also enjoy fighting the Hunter. It's I always find it a sort of a fascinating deck. As I say, for me the worst thing that can ever happen is when you pull out the you pull out the buzzard alongside the hounds, and then you have something like a wolf out that just always feels overbuffed. For me personally wouldn't play those wolves so early on. With the case of Arcane Shot and other possibilities that could come out, I always feel that to me I want to be able to buff and attack immediately. So I'll have stuff on the board before I pull those wolves out. That's just the way I personally play the Hunter.
No, I agree. I feel like the Hunter, you have these low mana cost cards, wolves, your buzzards, stuff like that. Then they're not. I feel like they're not made to be played as soon as you get them. They're made to be played, when you're playing something else in order to buff something else, like an Unleash the Hounds. You play Unleash the Hounds, then you toss out your wolf, so all your hounds are 2-1. it's almost like early game. I delay as a hunter. Like I try to use my hunter ability, the steady shot, as much as possible throughout the game, even if it means I'm a little bit behind in terms of creatures on the board. Because really, you want to fall behind a little bit on creatures on the board because you want that Unleash the Hounds to be big and impactful when it does come out.
Yeah.
Now this is another great little combo where you have Knife Juggler, Unleash the Hounds. Knife Juggler attacks the right position, or the right position, the right things. You can get some good luck out there. And now you have this hyena that's just like getting huge.
That's Now that puts that really sort of changes the dynamic as to where Pagan Geek will attack. He's actually going with his Kodo. And what would you do as a reply to this Kodo? We've got this hyena out there, high powered. There we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would get rid of that Kodo because charge on all your beasts. That's really
brutal
tough.
right there.
The only thing is the Kodo, doesn't he have charge himself then?
No, he doesn't. It's just for your other beasts.
Your other beasts, okay.
Yeah, that's the downside of it. So you couldn't use it that turn. And just looking there at 2 turns away from King Crush coming out.
Yeah, King Crush is an excellent card. I still don't have it for my Hunter deck. I think that'd be I don't have any legendaries in my Hunter deck at this point. So
well dealt. That was a very good play. That's a really good play of the multi-shot right there.
Oh yeah, getting rid of those hyenas are key because if they're there, then the those Houndmasters get to buff them, and they're just gonna be trouble for pretty much the rest of the game. Okay, so we're gonna get Unleash the Hounds. I think he's gonna deal with all of them again with the multi-shots. It's so crazy seeing like multi-shots coming from both sides.
And it's funny that now at this point, those Unleash the Hounds. The Beastmaster can now be applied to the 2 hounds, which will be interesting.
Yeah, no, that's I think that's gonna really give Pagan Geek kind of the leg up right now because he's gonna have 4 creatures on the board, and 2 of them gonna be hounds that are 3/3 with taunt. I mean, you don't see that too often.
No, not at all. And just looking at it's King Crush's turn, but we can also see what's in Pagan Geek's hand too. This leads for an interesting. Where do you go from here? Because that's a really powerful position to be in.
And he chooses not to play King Crush. That's interesting because it's the one card that can without knowing what's in your opponent's hand can get you kind of back into this game by start kind of clearing out their minions.
But he has faced this hunter for the last 2 rounds, and he does know that the big game hunter is in his deck. So he may well be aware of that. However, out it pops, and wow, there really is nothing that can be done here. It's got to. I love the way that animation.
Pagan Geek's probably like kind of kicking himself in the butt right now. He sees King Crush come down after he played the big game hunter. It's like
It's always fun taking him out, even though he knew he had it. It's always fun taking him out when you have that situation.
And we have a concede here. That's going to be a 3-0. Man, Tarconus just didn't have any luck on that.
There was no mercy from Pagan Geek tonight. That's all I can say. It's like no mercy.
Yeah.
He went for blood.
So Tarconus, what are your thoughts on the matchup as a whole?
Well, I got close with the mage, but that was about it. The ones that got the taunts, he got those out on the. He ended up having both of them in his hand, kind of like when I had the hyenas the last time I played, and it just killed everything.
I think one of my favorite moves there was holding back on the multi-shot, and once those hyenas popped out, he then used it, and he was sitting on that multi-shot there for 4 or 5 rounds, and there's several times he could have used it. If I recall, but it's just there. It's just like there's the perfect time, just when you thought it was all that the tide was turning for you, and then at the end they pop that multi shot. Yeah.
What was that smack talk on Twitter earlier today, sir?
Hey, I had to get the audience involved in wanting to come watch the match.
I think we did it because I had a friend from my Horde guild. Actually, she messaged me during the stream, and I thought, oh God, Lisa, please don't tell me what he's got in his hand because I got a forfeit then, you know.
It's kind of like the old wrestling matches when they had the interviews before.
Yeah.
Watch the thing.
I tell you though, man, I winced when I saw you were playing Hunter that third match because I hate that mirror match. I just hate it. I just hate it. And brother, I don't know what happened. I hope the cards. Maybe it's just the cards didn't fall right for you, but I knew you were going to hex my rag, and I knew you were going to shoot him, but I knew I was going to get 8 damage in on you too.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
No, that's what
I
we were
was
laughing.
saving those for that rag.
Every legendary came out, there was going to be an answer for, and we're like, oh, King Crusher's going to get put out, and then Big Game Hunter's going to take him out. But, luckily, it fell a little bit differently.
I didn't want to put him out until the taunts were gone, because I was going to waste them on a turn anyway.
I tell you, Steve, too, brother, that is a taunt-light deck for me. That is not a heavy taunting deck.
Yeah, it's just those 2 cards when you got them together to get 2 taunts out there at the same time. It's a killer.
It's brutal. It's brutal. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So Pagan Geek, how's it feel? You won this week.
After the smacking I got from Zen Style a few what was that, about a month and a half ago?
Yep.
So that was an epic beatdown. Yeah, it feels good, but Tarconus here, man, I tell you what, hell of a game, sir, hell of matches. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good. At least they were interesting down to the wire. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think it was the second match when he was playing with the Shaman. It really looked like Sean was on the back foot for a good portion of it, and all of a sudden he came. Was it the Shaman? All of a sudden it just like
the mage one. I think both of them. It kind of looked like like Pagan Geek, like you were kind of on your back foot, like waiting, and then you exploded. Especially in I think it was the mage one, the first one. You were down to 7, and I was like, oh no, we gotta.
Well,
be careful.
I top decked a lot of stuff, man. Let's be real honest about it. I top decked some cards.
You know what? So yeah, it was on that first match. Your draw was great, and then every card you got after that just sucked. So you had in your hand, you had 2 taunts that you couldn't apply them to. You had a what's the one where you have it's 3 attack if you got a beast, it's 5 attack. But you couldn't use that to any effect.
Yeah, the Kodo.
Yeah, and it just I don't know. It just felt like for a while looking at your hand, like what do you do? Oh, and you had 2 the marking shot.
Hunter's mark, yeah.
Hunter's mark. God, I can't think of the terms.
Did I even use a Hunter's mark on you, Tarconus? I don't think I did.
I don't think so.
You said you won the whole time.
Yeah.
I needed more damage cards. I had a lot of cards to lock you out, like a lot of freezing cards and stuff at first. But
yeah, but in my head I was tallying every time you used one of those. Every time you used one, I was going, okay.
This game will be mine in 5 turns once he's done using all those freezing cards.
For sure.
I hate playing the mage.
I almost didn't even start with that deck. I almost started with my Paladin deck. So I don't know. So
I know it's crazy how depends which one you start with, but what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Poor Will has more than once fallen to that Hunter deck I just played you with. So
it's your Shaman deck I worry about. That's the one that bugs me, Sean. I have to say I was really pleased when you played that Shaman deck. I'm not gonna lie, when you played that Shaman deck against Robert Winger. And he owned you.
My Shaman deck, and then here comes Tarconus with his Shaman deck, and I thought, oh fuck, because I know what my Shaman deck does to people.
Oh man, so Pagan Geek will probably grab you. We're actually kind of doing it every other week right now. So probably in 2 weeks we'll grab somebody. And if you're available.
Am I going to be around in 2 weeks, Will? You know my schedule as well as I do.
We'll figure. I'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out afterwards. So a quick reminder: the Saturday Showdown is brought to you by World of Podcasts. Now this is going to be awesome because it's going to be taking place the Thursday before BlizzCon, which means we're only 67 days away. So that means it's what's the date? The 5th the 5th? No, the 6th. Sorry, the 6th of November of this year. It's gonna be a great time. Me, Will, Tarconus, are you going to BlizzCon? I forget.
Oh,
No
next year
Tarconus?
maybe. Next year maybe. Unless you guys pull me in on Skype.
Pagan Geek, are you gonna be at BlizzCon?
No. So you guys have to pull me in on Skype too this year. Next year is my BlizzCon plan. So, I just couldn't do Gen Con and BlizzCon this year.
Got it.
Well,
Well,
and Gen Con's where I live, and I was lucky to do it.
Yeah.
So.
I know the feeling. So you'll see me and Will there. You know, we're gonna be, there'll be panels, there'll be drinking, there'll be hanging out. There'll just be a lot of fun.
I love how drinking is like between panels and anything else is going panels and drinking.
Well, there's gonna be
And
2
drinking.
bartenders now because for those of you who don't know, there is a Kickstarter and they were able to get the goals for the first 3 goals. So check out that as well on the World of Podcast website because we are working on the next stretch goal, which is actually having a fireside gathering, which is exciting because then it means we get to play Hearthstone live with people, in real people. That's crazy.
Real people.
You can
Real people.
You can get
As
so mad you
opposed
can
to
reach out and
Tarconus
touch
and I
them.
being Moobots or
You guys are
something.
virtual people.
You're on the holodeck.
Yeah.
You're just figments of our.
Yeah.
Thank you, Barkley.
Well,
Lieutenant Barkley. Wow.
That's a deep reference
I
right
did.
there.
I
Yeah,
host a
deep
podcast with you, sir.
well, that'll do it for tonight, guys. Thank you guys again for playing. Tarconus, thanks for coming back. Pagan Geek,
Yeah.
we'll see you again. And this time, I'm going to find
2
something
weeks
super
I can
hard.
do.
Yep.
Awesome.
2 weeks I can do.
We will see you then. Have a great day, and see you all around. Goodbye.